Hello everyone, GameWiz1 here. I'll start by talking to you about one of the more interesting pieces of information that has come out of this year's Tokyo Game Show. This, of course, is the announcement from Valve that the company will be releasing a standalone operating system for home computers called SteamOS. As you may have imagined, this OS will be a complete and total departure from the Windows we know and love. Unless, of course, you belong to the group which loads Windows. It is for this reason that I come to you to discuss what this announcement may mean for those of you out there with serious issues with Microsoft or Windows specifically. Especially those who were completely unimpressed with Windows 8 and the new user interface, which has garnered no end of user complaints ranging from utter hatred to simply those who do not understand why a touch interface would be included in software which is focused on touchscreen monitors when the average user does not have a touch screen. For this reason, it is necessary that we take a moment to address these issues and imagine how this new operating system from Valve is going to try to alleviate those concerns while also providing a software solution whose main goal is to provide the absolute best performance from hardware which may or may not be cutting edge, while at the same time reducing those memory and hardware limitations due to the large amount of system RAM necessary to run Windows in any of its previous iterations. For the purpose of this video discussion, we will focus on the newest operating system, Windows 8, and ignore the previous versions of Windows. Before we proceed, I would like to begin by making something absolutely clear to everyone watching. In no way do I intend to try to steer anyone toward or away from either of these offerings. My goal is simply to inform you of the potential benefits or downfalls in both of these choices. Let's begin with SteamOS. As you may have already heard, SteamOS is Valve's new concept software designed to replace Microsoft Windows completely for users whose main concern is to utilize every drop of available power from their hardware while simultaneously streamlining the gaming environment and removing any unnecessary software which tends to clutter the average user's home computer. This feature will be attained by utilizing a highly customized version of the Linux operating system. Some users may already be familiar with Linux, as there are several versions available to average users online, ranging from Red Hat Linux all the way to Ubuntu. This means that the operating system will be completely unique, sharing no similarities with Windows whatsoever. Now, at this time, we're being told by Valve that the new custom OS will feature things users are currently enjoying in their normal PCs, such as video conferencing, streaming movies from major market leaders such as Netflix or Hulu, pending a formal announcement, of course. Now, presumably this OS will become available first on hardware, which Valve has been teasing over the past few months, known online as the Steam Box. This would be a custom computer hardware designed from the start to utilize SteamOS and the big picture mode being offered to current users of Steam. The purpose of this is to streamline the entire catalog of Steam software into a simple-to-use interface designed with a home television in mind instead of a normal monitor. On top of this feature, Valve recently announced the newest addition to its ever-growing stable of crowd-pleasing policy updates, which were apparently taken directly from Microsoft's very own design concepts for their next-generation hardware, the Xbox One. In this case, it is the ability to share your video game library online with your closest friends and family members. Currently, this feature is being tested by Steam users and is available as a beta program, which will eventually be distributed across the board to every member of the Steam community. With this feature, members will be able to share their digital library with whomever they choose, up to a limit of 10 people. Of course, to this you can add any user in the home who currently already enjoys this with those in the same household. This feature will add new users outside of the home who will now have full access to any game on your Steam library, as long as those games are allowed in whichever region that friend or family member may live in at that time. So games which are blocked for sale overseas will still not play on a friend's PC, even if they are friends' share list, unfortunately. Previously, this feature was one of the biggest selling points of Microsoft's Xbox One, but was apparently axed when the uproar from the gaming community reached critical mass, when it became known that Microsoft would require a persistent online connection in order to continue to play your own games. The same policy would limit how users were able to share or trade their software, as there would be no access to current gaming models, such as rentals from companies such as GameFly, or even the newest upstart, Redbox. In a move which had some labeled vindictive, Microsoft removed the game sharing policy, which was readily embraced by the vast majority of gamers when they were unable to sell the remaining policy changes on those unhappy gamers who were highly vocal about their doubts, as well as angry in the policy changes which would limit their ability to share or trade in their used games. Clearly, in this regard, Valve listened to the opinions being raised on the internet and decided that they would implement those favorable policies and simply omit any which were considered offensive to everyone. Of course, this brings up a very interesting question. Does this announcement change the way a current PC gamer sees their own hardware? Clearly, a move which would remove Microsoft's Windows from home computers would be wrought with concerns, ranging from the loss of important features which some users simply could not abandon without a great loss to their user experience. Any user of Microsoft Windows 8 will readily tell you that the new interface, while loathed by some, does offer a vast improvement to the way in which tech-savvy users are able to consume their daily fix of digital content. Simple features such as Microsoft's newest app called Messaging are changing the way people stay in touch with one another without the end user needing to do anything from their end once a program has been linked to their favorite social media sites such as Facebook or Messaging. This feature allows the end user to turn on their computer, or perhaps their newest tablet PC, such as Microsoft's very own Surface, without having to log into any one program, then having their messages simply sent to them on their live tile. In this same vein, Microsoft has streamlined their newest Internet Explorer by integrating the new charm bar in such a way that the user simply needs swipe the screen from the right or right-click their mouse in the right side of the screen if they do not have a touchscreen monitor, of course, then bringing up the charm bar and allowing those users to hit the share button. This feature allows them to send their current web page or article without having to switch over to any other app. You simply choose who receives the article from the list, your most commonly used friends' addresses are there, and you click. Those friends are now able to view the same content you are without having to search on their own. Of course, the live tile feature is integrated into more than one program. Users who use Netflix are shown the newest content available for their viewing pleasure, and apps focusing on YouTube content update automatically, offering the end user new video suggestions based on their past viewing habits. Of course, not every feature in Windows 8 is found on the new live tile area. there are those older programs which still require a desktop. These legacy programs offer the end user a familiar look and feel to previous incarnations of Windows, ranging from their video game library to important items such as Microsoft Office. Speaking of Office, anyone who uses this type of software will be simply amazed at the new features found in the newest iteration, aptly named Office 365. This new version has taken the very best of previous offerings and has updated them into a new streamlined package which makes creating everything from a simple letter all the way to spreadsheets or highly polished PowerPoint presentations a breeze. For those users where this type of hardware is reason enough to prevent the switch, migrating to a new gamer-centric OS which cuts out all of the fat and leaves none of the flavor will be a switch that some users simply cannot make. For this reason, I do have a few concerns for SteamOS. While it is clear that Valve intends on making this new software available to those who are currently utilizing the cutting edge in computer hardware, it is also clear that the focus will not be on those who aren't. This software is designed with one thing in mind: video games, and users requiring more than this will have to remain firmly entrenched on the Microsoft camp. I will end this by saying, while I absolutely love Steam in its current state, and will surely be using the new family share plan, the fact that I use my home computer for much more than simply a high-powered gaming system is readily apparent. I would love to be one of the users out there that is able to purchase new hardware to run this new and unique OS, but with current market realities, coupled with a limited income, it may not be available to myself anytime soon. On the other hand, this does not mean that if the reverse were true, that I would not indulge in this experiment. All that remains is for Valve to begin to list the names of software developers who are currently working on future games which would utilize this new model for their upcoming game releases. Without some serious changes in software, however, SteamOS may not be an overnight success. Most games today are not designed to run on Linux out of the box. Users will need Valve to provide a steady flow of new content to make this type of investment worthwhile. Streaming older titles may be a nice bullet point for their presentation, but I doubt that most gamers are going to be satisfied with back catalogs, regardless of the hits included, simply because those games are yesterday's hits. And as we know, gamers are always looking forward, and in this case, it requires that they also see beyond the immediate limitations which may be found on a system which is nothing more than a high-powered yet expensive home console. How do you see this thing playing out? Do you feel that Valve has a hit with SteamOS? Do you believe that the package will be able to sell hardware, or do you see this thing becoming a niche subset of hardware PC gamers? As always, if you've enjoyed this article, please feel free to leave your comments below, and also remember to hit the subscribe button. Thanks to everyone. Please come again. GameWiz TV, GameWiz1 out.